Good morning, Acoustic Guitar Forum. I am going to do a demo of MobileSheets Pro for you. So I am working on my Samsung Galaxy A7 tablet here. Here's my home screen down on the bottom. The second icon in from the left is the MobileSheets Pro icon. I will launch that now. So this is what comes up when I launch it. I already have my three primary set lists that we're playing right now for our assisted living facilities built. We have a Christmas, a hybrid Christmas, and a normal. So on the top you see set lists, three, songs, and recent. Those are the tabs. When you first launch the program after downloading it, it has many more tabs than that. I decided that these three work best for me. So set lists are very easy to create. You just hit new and you can create a new set list like that and then add songs. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of go through this quick. Over on the songs list, that lists all your songs in alphabetical order. You can sort them by alphabetical manually, however you want, with the sort tab above. And then the recent just is the most recent thing that you touched. So in this case, I have the MobileSheets Pro is the second one down there. That's actually the manual. Comes with a very detailed manual, and then songs that I've used. So to import a song is pretty easy with this. You just hit import, and you can import from a local file, from Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, from the system file browser, and there's a bunch of other things you can do, batch import. I'm just going to demo exactly how I use this. So for me, what I do is I do Google Drive, and I have all of my Ultimate Guitar tabs in folders on my Google Drive. So in this case, it went right to the last thing I selected, which was my Assisted Living Facility Christmas set list. And so all those songs are there. I can import them one at a time or multiple, however I want. So in this case, I would, if I wanted to import Jingle Bell Rock, I would hit OK, it would download it, and then it would bring up, and I could rename it. It tries to guess the file from the file name, or I can rename it manually. There's two other settings, or one particular setting to note here is automatically crop pages. You can check that box, and then what that will do is that'll go in and crop off any extraneous margins and try to get as much on the page as you want. I originally did that, and then I ended up preferring it not doing it. You can always go in and crop manually after the fact, so I leave that uncropped. Okay, and then you can go in and you can say what set lists you want it to go to. You can put it into any one of your set lists you already have built. You can fill in all of this stuff. I only use set list, and then I put in the artist for who does it. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that because of course I have it already set in. All right, so now I'm going to go back over to set lists and talk about, I'm going to go ahead and just pull up my Christmas set list. I'm going to work from that. So here's what your set list looks like. You can scroll up or down. I only have 19 songs on this set list, so it doesn't scroll for me. Within the set list, you can edit your set list by hitting the edit key on the top. This allows you to select songs on the right hand side. That's every song that's currently in your library. You can move songs within your set list manually by just touching it, moving it up. You can also delete a song by hitting the X. All right, I'm not going to do any of that, obviously. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the display itself. So I'm going to go out to, I'm just going to load up Blue Christmas. So here's what the display looks like. Now, I have, because I used ultimateguitar.com for years, I have all my PDFs already built over there, all my arrangements, all my transposing is already done. I decided not to reinvent the wheel, and I'm just using the PDFs that I already have. So if I tap in the middle of the display, it brings up the menu. Okay, so here's the menu. Here's all the different things that you can use to customize how your set list operates. So the first thing I'm going to start with on the bottom bar there's a top bar and a bottom bar. The bottom bar all the way over to the left is the scroll menu for setting your scrolls. So if I go into scroll settings, it brings up automatic scroll settings. So you can have different types of scrolling behavior. I choose scroll continuously to the end. You can also scroll and pause after page turn, scroll and pause regular, and scroll the entire song in fixed time. Okay, I just use scroll continuously to the end, and that's just what I decided to do. You can use scroll speed. I use Metronome, and that scrolls according to the beats per minute that you use. You set your metronome to, and that seems to work fairly well. You can also have manual speed: slowest, slower, slow, medium, fast, faster, fastest. When I was trying to do it manually, I was in the slowest mode and it was still scrolling too fast. So that's when I went to the use metronome setting. You can have time before the scrolling starts. I chose 20 seconds, so that gives me time to that seems to be kind of a good amount of time for me to get halfway down into the page before it starts to scroll. If I start scrolling right away, even using the metronome, it scrolls too fast. There's a little check box here you can check called Start Scrolling When the Song is Loaded. I originally did this, but there were too many variables and how much I was talking between songs and whatnot. So now I just leave that off and I load the songs manually. You can hit a button down here called Apply To. So once you find, this is very convenient because once you find a scroll setting that works for you, you can apply that to all the songs in your set list or even all the songs in the library. So what I did was I do all songs in set list, and then it remembers that. And then if I have to go in and individually change a song, I just do that within the song itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the next menu over, second from the bottom left. All right, that's the only thing I use in here is the crop, and I don't use that, but if you want to manually crop, you can go in there and crop your page, and you can, like for instance, I could crop out everything other than just the words and the chords itself, and that would make it bigger on the screen. But again, I don't use that. There's a quick hit for night mode. You can turn to night mode if you want. Turn night mode off. And that's pretty much all I use there. You can sharpen the image, rotate. I don't use any of that. So the next menu item I use, which is 2 over, is the select display mode. I use portrait mode. You can also use landscape mode, obviously. Display mode type, I use vertical scrolling. That's how I prefer to scroll. You can also do single page, 2 pages side by side, or half page, and they will, for instance, in single page, if you scroll, it'll automatically just shift over to the next page. If you use half page, it'll scroll down a half a page. I like a smooth vertical scrolling, so that's what I use. A little bit farther down, a couple other things I want to talk about primarily is the page color tone. So when the program comes stock, it has no color page tone, which is basically just a white color like this, white on black, and then of course you can do the night mode to do black on white. One thing that they do offer, which I really like, is they have three other color modes. They do one called Cool, which is kind of a purplish blue, and then they have Gray, which is kind of a bluish gray. And then last but not least, and my favorite, is a sepia. And that gives you kind of a yellowish, almost manila folder-like color. And I really like this color. Those 3 colors are designed to be easier on the eye, and for me, the sepia is the one I like the best. The next icon to the right is the select page scaling mode. You can basically use full screen, fit the screen, fit the width or fit the height. So, and what happens with these, if your page comes in and it's a non-standard page size and you want it to fit to the entire screen or to fill the whole screen, if it's short, you want to fit it to the width, or if it's long, you want to fit it to the height. The thing to remember with that is if you hit fit width, fit height, or fit screen, if your page is a non-standard size because you've manually cropped it, it's going to elongate your text or make your text wider. By using full screen, it basically it will show the actual size of the page as you cropped it, but it will keep the aspect ratio the same, which is what I prefer. And I just use my whole pages anyway, as I said, from Ultimate Guitar PDF. So the next thing I use, the next one to the right there after the big gap is just a little mini set. You can go in and change the positioning of your set list, and I guess this is if you want to change your set list on the fly for some reason, you can do that there. I don't use that at all. I'm going to skip the next 4 icons because I don't use them at all, and go down to all the way to the icon second from the right. That is the Metronome display. So this is where you would set your metronome speeds, and you can do automatically defaults to 0 when you first bring some in. You can manually either dial up or down the beats. You can do it one at a time by hitting the plus or the minus, or you can also use the get it back to 100 there. You can hit the tap to set the menu. So you can just, if you're listening to the actual song or you're singing it in your head, you tap this to set the tempo several times until you get a ballpark where you are, and that'll be that. The next thing down, you can set the time signature to just about anything you want, and select the beat note value, so on and so forth. It defaults to 4/4. You can set the beat subdivision, quarter notes, eighth notes, triplet notes, so on and so forth. You can do sound. There's several sounds you can do: wood metronome, ping, digital metronome, hi-hat, kick, hi-hat, bongo, cowbell. I don't use any of those. I'm using this as a performance tool, so obviously I don't want any sound. You can accent the first beat, and then you got to remember to hit start metronome. If you don't do that, then when you go to use it in auto mode, it won't start. So the next thing up in the top left corner, you hit the little settings button. These are your metronome playback settings. You can do auto start on and count in. So auto start will automatically start counting in or start the metronome up in your left hand corner when you have that selected when you load the song. You can the next thing down is count in. If you have that on, what that will do is that will count in, so the metronome will display for however many measures you want it. Right below that, see a number of measures to count. So if you wanted it to be flashing all the time, you would turn the count in off. I've tried this dozens of combinations, and I basically auto start, but I have it set up so I still have to manually start it, and I'll talk about that in a bit. You can also hit apply to all songs in set list. So as you go back and forth over and over again, and when you find something that you like that works, if that works for every single song, you hit apply to all the songs in the set list, and that automatically updates everything, which is nice. All right, so I'm going to hit out of that. The next one over, the little display menu. This is your metronome display settings. So you have four different types. You have the LEDs, which will show flashing up in the upper left-hand corner. You have glow, which glows on the sides. You have a little mini metronome in a circle. So I'm gonna show what those look like one at a time. So, and then you can also change the color, for an LED, and then the vertical offset is how high or low you want it up on the upper left-hand corner for everything but the glow. It doesn't apply to the glow, and that'll make sense in a minute. So here's what the LED looks like. Let me get out of this. So I'll hit start metronome. So you can see, get out of the thing. Up in the left-hand corner, you see the 4 bars. That's because I'm in 4/4 time, and that's 100 beats per minute right there. And then it goes off because I have it set to only count in. So I'm going to go ahead real quick, go back down to this. I'm going to turn off the count in just so I can see. All right, so let's get out of there. So that's what that looks like. That's the LED display, and you can change the color. All right. So the next thing up is I'm going to put up the metronome. The metronome shows a little actual physical metronome in the top left corner, which is kind of cool looking. It's retro. To me, it's not as functional. It's not as easy to see. I suppose if it's something where, okay, I just want to count in and I don't want something that's going to pull my focus as I'm looking down, that's probably better than the color. I tried that a little bit and quickly decided it wasn't for me. Next up is the circle, and the circle is just a single dot up in the left corner, which counts in like that. I found that I like the LEDs better. The last thing I'm gonna pull up here in a second, and the one of the reasons I ended up going with count in is because, and then the metronome shutting off, is invariably I end up drifting off of time. I don't stay on it. My wife and I have an acoustic duo. We play, especially on the mellow songs, there's a lot of give and take and ebb and flow in time. And so, at least with me, I don't have perfect time, even though I used to be a drummer. So I'm very quickly offbeat with what the LED flashing is showing me, and that kind of bugs me. So that's why I do the count in. I just do a count in for 5 measures. It gives me 5 measures to really kind of get it ingrained in me before I kick off the song, and then it goes away, and then, time becomes what it is. However, for those of you who like to have a metronome throughout the entire song to help you keep going and stay in time, I found one of the best things to use is the glow. And what the glow does is it shows up on both sides all the way down. And what's nice about that is as if you use a scrolling method like I do, where the page scrolls up slowly, those bars stay there, and you no matter where you're looking on the page, as your eyes are drifting up and down, those you'll see those bars. So if you're the type of person that likes to have a metronome flashing in the beat throughout the song, this is a good option for you. In the end, I just went with the LEDs, and I also went with the count-in, and 5 measures works best for me. All right. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about screen programming. So, like I said, you hit the screen in the middle, and that brings up the menu options, top and bottom. You hit it in the middle again, and it goes away. So one of the things you can do with this screen, there are some built-in touch points here that come in that are automatically programmed. Some you can change, some you can't. So touching in the middle brings up the programming menu, touch in the middle again, and the programming menu goes away. You touch the right side of the screen in the middle, it advances to the next page. And notice how, in this case, it went to the next song because there was only one page. So down in the right-hand corner here, you'll see page 1 of 2. That's how you know that you have one or more pages, or more than one page. If you only have one page, I'm going to go back to the previous song. You look down in the lower right-hand corner, and there's nothing there. That means this song is on one page and one page only. So right-hand middle of the page goes to the next page or the next song if there's only one page. So hitting that goes to the next page. Hitting the left side goes back a page. You can also program on the top of the page. You can program the middle, the left, and the right to whatever you want. Same with the lower left. You can program the lower left and the middle. You can program whatever you want. So I chose a few different things. I chose the top right block to automatically go to the next song. So it'll go to the next song. Top left will go back to the previous song. So that's very convenient if you want to skip a song. Obviously, you can also hit the back button on your tablet and go back out to your set list. But for me, I like just going song by song by song. In the top middle, I hit that to start or stop or restart the metronome. So, and that's convenient where if for whatever reason I started talking in the middle of the song, or started talking at the beginning of the song and talked too long, and I didn't get a chance to internalize the metronome, I can just turn it back on because that's going to go away in 5 bars. So that's convenient. The other thing I programmed is down in the lower left corner is to start the scrolling. So if you remember back from when I set up my scrolling, I opted to not start scrolling at the beginning of every song. And the reason for that is obviously when I hit the next song in a performance type mode, you know, we're doing a little intro or something, we're getting internalized, and then once we get going, it's like, okay, now we want to start the scrolling. So I hit the lower left as we get ready to start, and that starts the scrolling. Remember, I had it set so it doesn't physically start scrolling. It auto scrolls in with a 20-second delay. So that's what that little sign you saw flash up there. So now I'm playing the song. I'm going along. You'll notice that the metronome is already stopped. It's giving me my counting, and there you go. 20 seconds later, now the song starts to scroll, and I'm playing, and it automatically goes down. So this song only has one page, so it's going to automatically scroll through to the next song. So I'm going to go ahead, and if I hit the lower left again, that'll stop the scrolling, and I'm going to go ahead and go back. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, in the upper left-hand corner, you have a little icon there in blue. That means that there is a note for the song. Then you have 2 other icons. One's a little paintbrush and one is a little pencil for editing. So you can edit the song. This is the thing that came up when we imported the song. I can go in here, I can change the title, I can change the set list, I can change the artist. That's not something I ever need to do once I've got everything set. The set list, so let me go back to, so I'm going to start here. The set list note feature is very convenient, and it allows you to display a note either as a song note or a set list note at the start of the song. So if for some reason there's something about a song I want to know that I can't remember, or I want to change to remind myself, I can create a note. And what you do is you hit that little icon up there. Now you have 2 different types. You have set list notes and you have song notes. And the difference is sometimes I want a note to be displayed on a specific song always. But sometimes I want a note to be displayed on a song, but only as it appears in that set list. And as an example is, and I'll show that in a minute, actually, I'll show it to you right now. So I'll go out of there. I'm going to hit cancel. So as I go to my next song here, all right, next song, triplet feel. So I want this song to be a triplet feel. So that pops up and tells me, okay, even though I have it written up there, triplet feel, it's like this reminds me that this song needs to be played with a triplet feel, and that reminds me with the metronome to count in, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. It's just a note that tells me, reminds me. On the next song, okay, it says capo 2. That's a set list note, and the reason why it's a set list note and not a song note is because in this particular instance, I go from capo 1 to capo 2, and it's just a reminder. Even though I have right up there in the title C2, telling me capo 2, and then in the song itself C2, sometimes when I'm in the mode of talking to the audience, I might forget. So by having that flash up there, that tells me, reminds me, hopefully, to change the capo position. Oops. So if I go up into the set list, you can, so you select what type of note you want, song note or set list note. Once you select that, you can say show notes when loaded or not. So you can have it off or you can have it on. And then you can, if you have it so it shows notes automatically, you can have, well, what's your duration? You can set, up to 10 seconds duration, or you can set until tapped. You can also select the font size, the font position, and then you click into the field and you can type in whatever you want. So I set up for usually just 2 seconds as a quick reminder, and there's that. The last thing you'll notice up on the top, I have, and this is something you can set up in the settings. That's very convenient. It tells me what the next song is, so that's convenient as well. So anyway, MobileSheets Pro, I did buy the Pro version. Is currently $12.99 on Google Play. There is a free version that you can go in and you can demo everything, but you can only load up to 8 songs. So I went in, did a quick demo of it. I demoed a few other ones that I didn't like as much. I ended up going with this, and I've been very happy with it. It definitely gives me everything that the one I was using previously, Ultimate Guitar Forms app, did not. There you have it. I hope you found this useful. See you next time.